clock has struck 7, so we'll get the meeting on the order. Good evening. It is February 15th, and this is a meeting of the Shrewsbury Conservation Commission. As a preliminary matter, this is John Ostrowski, Chair. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jason Port? Jason, are you muted? Did we lose Jason? I think he's gone, Brad.
Yeah, I don't see him on the list, John. You have to wait for him to come back.
Yep. Okay, there he is. Jason, we're taking the attendance right now. So please respond in the affirmative if you are here. Jason Port. Jason, can you hear me? Something's going on. He's muted.
Yeah, it didn't look like he could hear you, John. So that's probably why he left and came back to try to get his audio fixed. So I'll reach out to him real quick, see what's up.
All right. Well, we've got Ken Polito.
Here.
Okay. We're down to a 3-member commission tonight. So once we get Jason back, we can go. Jason, unmute yourself, Jason. Unmute yourself, you're muted. He apparently can't hear me, or?
Nope, I'm on now.
You're there now. Okay, good. Okay, we're doing the roll call. You're the last one to respond. Jason Port.
I'm here.
Good. All right. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Brad Stone.
Here.
This open meeting of the Shrewsbury Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely consistent with Senate Bill 2475, signed into law by Governor Baker on June 16, 2021, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. This meeting of the Shrewsbury Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Shrewsbury Conservation Commission is convening by Google Meet as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please be sure to press *6 to mute your phone. The meeting will feature public comment. Please wait until I open the item for public comment and press *6 to unmute your phone. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Okay, moving into our agenda. Our first item is to review and approve minutes. And the commission is still in the process of reviewing the minutes. Second item is to sign bills. Brad, do you have bills for us to swing by and sign?
No, I do not.
Okay. Third item, meetings and hearings. we have a number of continued public hearings. I'm going to read each individually, but the applicants have requested a continuance. The first one is a continued public hearing regarding the notice of intent filed by Capital Group Properties for the construction of a single-family house and associated site work at 824 Main Street, Lot 1A. The applicants requested a continuance. That hearing will be continued to our next meeting, which is March 15th, 2022. The second one is a continued public hearing regarding the notice of intent filed by Courtney and Derek Quartler for the site grading at 12 Kemble Drive. They have also requested a continuance. That hearing will be continued to our next meeting, which is March 15, 2022. The following continued public hearing is regarding the notice of intent filed by 7 Sherrill Realty Trust for the construction of an access roadway, sidewalk, and utilities at 581 to 587 South Street. The applicants requested a continuance, and that will be continued to our next meeting, which is March 15, 2022. And that puts us now into the new public hearings. So we will read the legal notice for the first one. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of general laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, that Rashid Sheikh, 24 Sherrill Drive, Shrewsbury, has filed a request for an amended order of conditions for the addition of an in-ground swimming pool with associated grading and retaining wall and stormwater infiltration system at 24 Sherrill Drive. A public hearing will be held on the above notice at 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening, February 15th, 2022. All right, who is the applicant for this, or the Imad? Is that
Yes,
that you?
good evening. My name is Imad Zurain from Develop Zurain. I'm a professional civil engineer. And I'll be presenting the plans for the
Okay,
proposed amended order of conditions. I guess first order of business, I did email scanned copies of all the green cards. We notified all the abutters by certified mail.
okay,
And I scanned those and sent them to Brad, and I will be putting the actual green cards in the mail to Brad. Do you guys have copies of the plan, or is that?
no, can you present it?
Yes, I don't know if I have access to present.
You should.
How do I do? Oh, present now, okay. Can you see that?
Yes, the plan is up.
Okay, so basically, we're before you to amend the existing order of condition. The existing order calls for a house addition, about a 1,300 square foot house addition with a recharge system that was done about a year ago by a different engineer. So the owner has elected to, while doing all this earthwork and all and whatnot, to actually add a in-ground swimming pool. So
Imad, can you zero in, blow that section up with the pool? I know you can. Yeah, that's more helpful.
is
Yeah,
that good?
beautiful.
So basically, the owner wanted to add an in-ground swimming pool as part of the addition, and that's why we're here before you. So the house addition hasn't changed much. The overall layout of the addition and whatnot. The two main changes really is the in-ground pool, which you see here, with a small pool deck, and an expanded recharge system. The old approved system was only required to recharge 1 inch of runoff from the addition, but given the DPW new guidelines for stormwater, we're actually the system almost tripled in size in order to maintain the peak rate of runoff to the wetland for the 210, 25, and 100-year storm. And we'll be filing with DPW for the stormwater permit, obviously, after we're done with the order. So here's where the pool is going. In order to install the pool, this is a sloped area. So we have to build a retaining wall along this edge. Will be a segmental retaining wall, and the stormwater recharge system will be in this location here. It's worth noted that all the work that we're proposing is within existing either lawn space or disturbed space, and we're totally out of the 30-foot buffer zone. So here's the 30-foot line, which this is outside the property and then goes into the inside the property in this location here. But all the work will be done completely outside the 30-foot. In some places, 4 or 5 feet, some places 15, 20 feet. That's pretty much in a nutshell the
Yeah.
proposal.
Can you just explain the detailed construction on the wall? What kind, roughly, what's the elevation drop on it and what type of wall are you using?
It's the type of wall that we're showing this segmental, the big block wall that you see here, which is ideal for construction and fill situation.
Yeah. Can you go to that detail? Can you go to that detail on the wall? Do you have a detail?
Yeah, I'm showing that detail right here.
We can't see it on our screen.
Can you see anything on the screen?
We got the blow up. I think you have to go back to the original size of the drawing and then zero in on that detail. We have the blow up of the swimming pool area right now.
Okay. Can you see that?
No, nothing's changed.
Let me close it and reopen it. Can you see that?
Yes, now we can see it.
Okay, so basically what I was saying, segmental retaining wall are ideal for construction and fill. It provides minimal disturbance to the downside. You put the erosion control on the low side, and we start building up, those segmental pieces. And as the segmental pieces go up, the fill goes behind it simultaneously. So this is basically the detail of the retaining wall. Top of the elevation wise.
Yes.
Can you see the plan now or no? I have to close it and reopen.
It's a little tough to see. If you can give us, in general, yeah,
basically, the grades along the bottom is in this 473 range.
Yep.
And the top of the wall ranges from 480 to 484 plus or minus. So the worst case is about 10 to 11 feet high in this location here. And then it drops off as we go left and right of the swimming pool. But behind the swimming pool is basically where the highest the wall. There would be a fence on top of the wall, for security reasons, safety, and also keeping everything on site, obviously. So,
is that shown on the plan? I can't see the detail on the fence or the.
we're calling for on the plan proposed segmental wall with 42-inch high fence. Yeah, it's called off on the plan.
Well, it's called off on the plan or on the notes?
On the plan, yes.
On the plan, okay. Jason, do you have any questions?
No, I do not have any questions.
Ken?
I'm all set for now.
Okay. A question on tying back that wall into the upper slope. Is there any requirements with that manufacturer's block wall to have tiebacks?
For tieback?
Yeah.
No, not for this type of wall and height. Given that.
Well, you got 11 feet. I think if I heard you right, is you have an 11-foot difference in elevation in places.
In one point, yes. In one.
Yeah. So that's a significant elevation change, and
Well,
there's no requirement for a tieback at all at that?
My understanding for those big block walls, they're 3 feet wide. You know, they gravity walls, they don't need
Okay.
tieback.
Okay, so the block wall itself is 3 foot. What's the dimensions on it?
It's 3 feet wide by 2.5 feet high by, I think.
Okay, okay, they're real hefty. They're really hefty. Okay, blocks. Okay. Brad,
Yes,
do you
I'm,
have?
I'm all set. No,
You're all set? Last chance for Jason. You're
No,
set,
I'm all
Jason?
set.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all set.
All right, does anyone in the public have any questions or comments on this hearing? All right, I'm not hearing anyone, so we will close the hearing. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our next new hearing. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, that Mark Lambert, 25 Fairbanks Street, West Boylston, Mass., has filed a request for determination of applicability for the removal of trees at 1 Bowden Street. A public meeting will be held on the above notice at 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening, February 15th, 2022. All right, the presenter was here. Are you there? Yep, I see you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark. Why
How are
don't
you?
you walk us through, I saw some of the submittals that you had presented, and you basically took like a GIS drawing and segmented it into work areas like 1, 2, 3, I think it was.
Yep.
And then you had a table with descriptions of the work within those areas. And
Correct.
can you go over those for us? I was a little just confused on the numbers that you were talking about, and
All the areas and whatnot.
yeah, and there, I mean, it said remove trees, but I mean, I didn't know if that was 2 trees or how many. So if you could
Right.
just go through that so we can get a idea of the scope or the magnitude of this cutting.
Sure. So in that first line, it says, I'm not sure if you're on the proposal or not.
No, we don't have it. Can you present it? Do you have the capability there to pull that up?
I wouldn't know how to.
Do you see, Brad's pretty good at he can guide you. There's a box, I think, with an arrow in it. Oh, Brad's
Okay.
he's actually pulled it up.
Yep. Let me see if I can pull that up here. All right.
Brad, can you blow that up a little bit on the where the work area is? So, yeah, that's helps. That's
Yep.
good.
So that's the work area there. And then can I pull over my proposal over again? Is there a place to do that?
I don't think you can co-share
Do
the
one at a-
screen.
Okay.
But you can describe it to us if you want to read it, what your proposal.
Sure. Yep. Get back here. So 1. So under 1 right here, it's identifying that tree removal of identified trees, large cracked maple top, cut out the crack, so leaving the remaining stem of the tree in the ground, but removing the cracked off part, and then just chipping up and removing the debris that we cut from the crack. The tree is basically, it's cracked in half and it's leaning into the wetlands
Okay.
in there. And the homeowner wants to clean up this area back in here.
All right, so we're talking just one tree there, Mark? We're talking
On
that
this first, on the number 1, correct.
Okay,
So each area is identified and then it goes according to proposal as well.
okay,
And then, so 2 here, it's tree removal of identified trees, small cracked maple top and fallen dead maple stem. So there's 2 of them right there. So there's a fallen cracked maple top and there's a fallen dead maple as well in that area.
Those are two trees you're talking about?
Two
separate-
trees.
Two trees.
Yep.
So now we're up to three, okay.
And 3 is removal of one hazardous dead ash that's behind their shed, which if it did fall, it'd probably hit their house and their shed.
Okay,
It's got the emerald ash borer in it.
okay. So that's just one tree there. So we're up to four now. We're up to four.
Correct. So then this rectangle area that's all dotted out in yellow,
Yep,
as you can see, clean up fallen dead trees in rear wooded area in this yellow dotted out rectangular shaped area on the site map.
okay,
From the back edge of the house to the stream edge, which is identified in that. So this, I'm not sure if you can see my cursor or not, which I don't know if you can.
no, because Brad's the one who's
Okay.
controlling this.
But the dotted yellow line that's closest to the back side of the house would be
Yep,
the starting point, and this the farthest way closest towards Bowden Street, the backside of Bowden, would be the stream edge, and they want
Right.
to clean up that area. There's multiple fallen dead, probably old maple trees and other various trees that are just kind of looks ratty, and they want to clean it up, and it is kind of causing some damming and water restriction in that area, because there is a culvert underneath Bowden Street right there as well.
right. I know the wording in your proposal, you said the cutting to the edge of the stream, which sort of got me a little leery. Typically, we don't like to, get right up to the bank of the stream. So I'm still a little confused as to, are you just cutting trees that have fallen? You're not taking anything down, any standing trees down?
Inside this rectangular area. So
I
that this
know
would be,
we talked about the four. We talked
Yeah.
about the four that you did.
Right.
Now, when you said you were going to go through this rectangular yellow block area and do cleanup of fallen trees. So in other words, clearing
On the
out
ground.
trees that have toppled over. Is that the way you're presenting this, or are you taking the more trees down that are standing?
it would just be trees that have fallen, that are
There's
already currently on the ground.
Stuff on the ground, okay. All right, and again, what's the purpose of going so close to the stream with this?
That is just, it's all inside that area, this wooded area. And the trees go from like kind of the bottom of number 3 and the bottom of number 2, and they lay from there out towards the back of that dotted yellow line.
All right,
So they kind of cross from closer towards the house out into the stream.
okay, they're laying, okay,
They're
perpendicular.
laying across.
Yeah, perpendicular to that back yellow dotted line.
Correct.
All right, let's go to some of the commission members, see if they can raise some questions. Jason?
Yeah, just a question. and I may have missed this. Are you leaving the stumps in place? Or
Correct.
Okay, you are. All right. That was the only question I had.
Okay. Ken?
So just to be clear, we're cutting 4 trees that are standing, and you are cleaning up fallen trees in the rest of the area. Is that correct?
Correct.
So the yard or the total area will not be clear cut. There will be trees standing.
Correct. Selective cutting, those 4 trees like you mentioned, and anything that's fallen.
Okay. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Brad?
The ash tree, has DCR or USDA been notified that you've got the borer there?
No, I've gotten no DCR or anything like that
Okay.
about that. I just know that it's heading this way, and a lot of these elm trees are starting to decline.
Okay, that's all I have, John. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Does anyone from the public have any questions or comments on this particular hearing? All right, I don't hear any, and this is a request for a determination of applicability. So, do we want to take a vote whether to go negative on this? First, filing a notice of intent?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, would you like me to make a motion?
Yeah,
Yes, I'd
sure.
like to make a motion, we issue a negative determination.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? And we'll do a roll call. Jason,
Aye.
Ken,
Aye.
and John, aye. All right, Mark, you're all set. You-
Okay.
You understand what a negative is, determination?
Not clearly. No, I'm not clear on that.
Yeah, all right. It means you don't have to go to the next step, which would have been to file a notice of intent. Okay, which is, you're basically approved to do the work as you described it tonight, no more than what was described without any further filings.
Okay. Do I need any like paperwork or anything like that? Or is it just word of mouth or how does it go?
No, you're gonna get a piece of paper that says that we voted on negative determination of applicability for you. It's part of a filing you made, so that would be your paperwork.
Okay.
What we
And-
just voted on, okay?
Yeah, one last question.
Sure.
How long after I get the approval is the work good for? Is it like needs to be done within 30 days or is it
No,
1 year?
no, it's years. Brad, how many years?
3 years.
3.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, Mark?
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Okay, moving on to our next new hearing. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of general laws, chapter 131, section 40, that New England Power Company, 40 Sylvian Road, Waltham, Mass., has filed a notice of intent to perform exploratory borings for a subsurface investigation along the O141/P142 transmission line right-of-way to support design work for the O141/P142 acid condition refurbishment project located at 316 Boston Turnpike. A public hearing will be held on the above notice at 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening, February 15th, 2022. And do we have the presenter? Is that Maria?
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead. Why don't you introduce yourself, Maria?
So I'm Maria Furstenberg from TRC. We're representing the applicant in this case, which is New England Power Company, doing business as National Grid. I am going to share my screen.
Why don't you blow it up to the work area too, Maria, if you can?
Yes, so this is actually just the site locus map.
Right. Just to get it a bit more, it's really so tiny on our computers, if you can. Can you? Yeah, that's better. Yeah, and then just scroll over to it. That's
so
perfect.
the highlighted red parcel here is the parcel that we're talking about. And the Rolfe Ave substation is right here,
Yep.
just to give everyone an idea of where this is. There are actually 2 borings that are proposed within Shrewsbury. So we're showing you where both of them are, but only one of them is subject to the NOI because New England Power Company has agreements in place with Mass DEP regarding regular maintenance that they do. So the other boring that's proposed in town, because it's not within a wetland or resource area, it doesn't fall subject to what's going on, but I wanted to show you where it was. So that's boring 6. The one that we're going to talk about for the rest of this is boring number 7.
And where's that boring number 7, Maria, on that plan with your cursor? Can you show us just on the plan?
Yep, it's the boring that is south of Boston Road.
Right, Route 9, right.
So it's at the very top of the red highlighted parcel. I'm actually going to switch to a sheet that's going to show it to you a lot
Okay.
better. So, can you all see that?
Yes.
All right. So essentially what's being proposed is that these soil borings are collecting geotechnical data that New England Power Company needs so that they can finish their engineering design for structure upgrades that are going to happen down the road, timeline-wise. And borings are being requested in these areas specifically because the geotechnical information that they have in these areas is too old to use. So they're essentially updating the information that they have on file to do this. So boring 7 here is where the new structure is proposed eventually that will be replacing structure 133. I'm going to zoom out a tiny bit so I can show you the resources that are here. So as it loads very slowly, there is a stream that's mapped along the top of this sheet. I don't know how well you can see it right now, but it's a dashed blue line with kind of green flag points. And USGS maps it as a perennial stream. So the reason that this boring is subject to the NOI is because we are within the 200-foot riverfront area from that stream. We are located, near the very outer edge of it. We are well outside of the inner 100 feet. We are probably within 25 feet of the outer 200 feet in terms of location. The soil boring itself needs to be in this location so that they have accurate data for where the structure would be replaced. The access that's proposed to this area is actually along existing pathways in the right-of-way, and that follows the yellow line here is their primary means of getting to this area. I'm gonna back up just a little bit because it kind of wraps around the substation so I can show you how they're getting in there. Here we go. So we're starting at the boring and we're just backing up around the substation. We're following the yellow line. So this is the substation down here, and this is the existing path that you can see on the aerial image that they are going to follow to get in there. And then this is where it connects to Rolfe Ave, which is just south of the substation. So the idea here is that they are following the purple line that turns into yellow so that they are staying on New England Power Company owned property to access the soil boring.
Maria, we're still talking just one boring, right? One
Yes,
soil?
this is just one boring.
Holy smokes. Okay.
So the existing pathway is already cleared. They aren't proposing any maintenance to it. They just need to access
Yep.
that location so that they can do the soil boring, so that they can finish their engineering design.
Yeah. All right. I think we probably got the gist of it. The access is across all existing roadways, one soil boring.
Yep.
Doesn't much matter what kind of rig they're gonna use to get in there because it is all existing roadways, so whether it's a wheeled vehicle or a tracked vehicle, doesn't matter.
Right.
And I'm sure this work's gonna be done in a day's time. That's
Yeah.
probably
It'll
a
be
fraction of a
in and
day.
out.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for questions, or do you have anything more you would like to tell us?
No, I am absolutely ready for questions.
Okay. All right. Jason.
No questions. I'm fine with this.
All right. Ken,
All set.
Brad.
I'm all set. Thank you.
All right, let's go to the public. Does anyone in the public have any questions or comments on this hearing? All right, I'm not hearing anyone, so we will close the hearing, Maria.
Awesome. So just to be clear, are you able to vote to issue an order of conditions for it then?
Tonight, we will vote on it tonight, yeah, at the end of our hearings. We will take a vote whether to issue one. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay, you can stay tuned in if you want, and there's only a couple more hearings and we will be into our voting session. Okay?
Sure. Thank you.
All right, so this hearing is closed. Okay, moving on to our next new public hearing. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of general laws, chapter 131, section 40, that Erica Wine, 111 George Hill Road, Grafton, Mass, has filed a notice of intent for the replacement of a septic system of a single-family house and associated site work within the buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland at 2 Brook Lawn Parkway. A public hearing will be held on the above notice at 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening, February 15th, 2022. Okay, do we have the presenter?
Good evening. I'm Kate O'Donnell from Ecotech, representing Erica Ernenwein. Paul McManus from Ecotech will also be in shortly, if he's not in already, to answer some questions as well.
Okay.
So if I can share my screen. So the project site, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you blow it up where the septic system is? Well,
Is that-
yeah, can you go a little more? One more.
Is that good?
Yeah, and if you slide it, can you slide it a little off, catch the septic tank? And then
Yep.
that'll be,
So the project site consists of an existing single-family house. Let me just close that. Located here, as well as driveway and lawn. I was present on the site in November of 2021 to delineate the wetland resource areas. And I delineated a bordering vegetated wetland off-site to the north, as well as an isolated vegetated wetland, which is not subject to the Wetlands Protection Act, off-site to the south. And the proposed project is to replace a failing septic system. As part of this, they will be relocating the existing water service around the leach field. And the proposed septic system is within the 100-foot buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetland, but it is located more than 50 feet away. The current conditions of the site are lawn and will remain lawn. And lastly, we are proposing straw wattle and silt fence erosion control barriers at the limit of work right here. And I can answer any questions that the commission has at this time.
Okay, Jason,
And I don't have any questions. I'm all set.
Ken?
The system is fully designed and approved.
It is approved by the Board of Health, yes.
I'm all set.
A question for you, and I don't know if you'll have the answer for this. Do you know if this is a full gravity system?
Yes, it is a gravity system.
It is a gravity system, okay.
Yep.
And I know it has a, can't meet the side slope breakout, so they put in a, basically a 40 mil poly barrier.
Yep.
Between the wetland area and the soil absorption system. Okay, which is all, yeah, code legal.
Mhm.
Okay, Brad?
So I have seen those wetland areas in the past. It's definitely a BVW there to the north. The bottom one is isolated. I don't know if it holds a 1/4 acre foot or not, but there's no proposal to touch it, so it's really a moot point. I didn't go to the site as part of this application, but I've driven by there multiple times for other filings and other matters before the commission, so I know very well what it looks like on either side of Brooklawn Parkway there. So I'm okay with what's being proposed.
Okay. Okay, just a question. You said a water service was being relocated. Where does, I mean, is it a town water or is it a well that they're being served by?
Don't believe it's a well.
And it's coming in off of, what is it,
Brooklawn.
that
Brooklawn
Brooklawn
Parkway.
Parkway there? And they got to keep that 10 feet away, I think it is, right, from the
Yep.
soil absorption system. Okay. Is that shown on this plan or not, the relocated water service?
So yes, it's this W line where it's being relocated. This is where it currently is.
Oh, okay, I see it. Yep, I see it now. All right. Okay, does anyone in the public have any questions or comments on this hearing? All right, I'm not hearing any, so we will close the hearing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, moving on to our next new public hearing, and it's also our last one of the night. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of general laws, chapter 131, section 40, that MAG RE Holdings, 800 Turnpike LLC, 777 Washington Street, Newton, Mass, has filed a request for determination of applicability for the demolition of a building and portion of another building at 420 Boston Turnpike. A public meeting will be held on the above notice at 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening, February 15, 2022.
Good evening, Garrett Horsfall with Kelly Engineering Group, site civil engineer associated with the project. I'm also joined tonight by John Schirkenbach of McGovern Automotive Group, who is the applicant and owner for this proposed project. I just want to share my screen here.
Yeah, yes, this is John. I am on as well. Just
Okay.
So I believe you all can see the screen now. So the project is located at 420 Boston Worcester Turnpike, or better known as Route 9. It's a 15.4 acre site. Currently fully developed. I'm sure everybody in town is pretty familiar with this building and site and seeing its day. It's pretty dilapidated. There's a curb cut on Route 9, which accesses the site, as well as a curb cut on Oak Street, which leads access to a signalized intersection at the intersection of Oak Street and Route 9. There's several resource areas on and around the site that were flagged by John Rockwood of Ecotech back in the fall, I believe. Just going clockwise here, there's a BVW that is located across, actually on the adjacent parcel on Industrial Drive. The buffer zone barely fringes the property line, which is in green here. There's also another BVW behind the building, which I believe the commission is familiar with from permitting of several years past, that generally flows to the south and west to a drop inlet located here. There's also BVW that extends down this direction and essentially curls around to the current edge of pavement from the Oak Street driveway. The main BVW, in question for tonight is a BVW line C, which is located at the northwestern corner of the site. So recently, McGovern Automotive Group purchased this site. As you may know, they operate a BMW and Audi dealership in the town, as well as various other dealerships in the area. And we are currently actively pursuing redevelopment permits for this project. We were in front of the select board last week to get a license for this project. We're for the ZBA at the end of this month for associated uses and variances that are needed for the proposed project. And after we expect receival of those approvals, we will be filing full site development plans for the proposed redevelopment of this site, which will obviously include a full notice of intent for this commission. However, given the state of the buildings and the construction timeline schedule for this project, we would like to, start some of the demolition of some of these buildings that are going to be proposed to be knocked down. There's a large section of the existing building, the larger building, approximately 105,000 square feet, that is proposed to be raised. Essentially, this portion of the building will remain and will be renovated on future plans. This active architectural design ongoing and MEP plans by mechanical engineers and the like. So there's a smaller building, approximately 13 to 14,000 square feet, located at the northwestern corner of the site. There's a 100-foot buffer zone that does infringe approximately 3,000 square feet of the building. The remainder is about 10,000 square feet outside of the buffer zone. I do want to note the existing edge of pavement is shown in this red line, almost touching the buffer zone in this section. We would propose to saw cut the pavement through this area, approximately 10 feet off the existing building for the removal of the building. And we'd have proper erosion controls in place, as erosion control line and silt sack for inlet protection on all downstream inlets, basically every inlet in the site. This whole site generally drains to a large 36-inch RCP pipe, which transitions to about a 48-inch pipe and outlets at the southerly side of the site. I do also want to note, which is part of this RDA, and why we really have requested for negative determination here, is that none of this area that would be disturbed in this section physically drains to the wetland itself that has the buffer zone in this section. It all drains to these two inlets. Generally, the site slopes north to south, and this section of the site will all drain to these two inlets as a part of this proposed work. So I do want to just reiterate that we will be in front of this board again with a full NOI, and we don't think any any adverse impacts as a result of this proposed demolition to any resource areas, and we respectfully request a negative determination for several reasons I've stated previously. We are aware that Brad had provided a letter earlier this morning. I did talk to him briefly this morning about several comments, and one of them dealt with the drain line, which runs north through south through the site. The second was dealing with the commission's historically dealing with RDAs and demolition and the like. we think this is sort of a unique case, just given that we are going to be back with this commission, and none of this area drains to the resource area itself. It all will be within previously paved or disturbed areas, and we're maintaining a critical edge through here that will be physically untouched pavement. So there will be no disturbance up against the wetland itself as a part of this work. And the third comment from the agent dealt with an active or expired at this point order of conditions that was related to the previous owner. Our plan is to meet with Brad, our wetland scientist, to discuss that, and before we file any notice of intent associated with the next work for this project. The new owner really wants to clean this site up, make it right, and rectify any of the past problems that may have happened on this site. So we will be actively seeking a meeting with the agent, our wetland consultant, and ourselves to get to the bottom of the active order of conditions that has since expired related to the previous owner. I don't know if John, you had anything else to add, but that's what I have for now, John.
Yeah, no, Gary, I mean, I think you covered it quite well. I mean, we are investing a lot here to, as you said, to kind of re-energize and bring this site back to, something that the town can, be proud of having on, in their borders. So we're looking to do the right things on all facets here.
Okay, why don't we, I'm gonna switch it over to Brad to start with. There's apparently an outstanding enforcement order on this site. If I can get Brad on to discuss this.
Yep, just give me 1 second. I'm pulling that up right now, John. Right, so back in December of 2012, the commission started enforcement of the site, issued an enforcement order. It progressed a little bit slowly, I would say, and ultimately we had the owner at the time come before the commission to finally deal with that and got an order of conditions that was issued in July of 2013. One of the things in that order that I'll note is that the commission did want to see the replication area done to mitigate some of the violation activity that had happened there. And the commission specified a timeline for that. And that's because of the enforcement order. When the commission issues a typical order of conditions for wetland replication, it's usually up to the applicant when somebody comes in with a project proposal, for instance, whether they do it or not. So that language isn't usually in those orders. And this one, specified a timeline simply because it was there for mitigation for an outstanding enforcement order. So to my knowledge, that wetland replication has not been completed at this point. The order of conditions is recorded at the Registry of Deeds. That does show up in the title there. But the commission also has not issued a certificate of compliance. I don't recall anybody approaching me to take a look at that, any replication area or any type of work for that for the site.
All right. Garrett, typically we don't go on and enter into any kind of new permits until we clear up the outstanding history. And this one, has an enforcement order, which isn't good. And now, the order of conditions to help rectify it. So when this property transferred, that should have been picked up by the title search and, been brought right to the forefront. So, my comment is I wouldn't want to proceed with anything other than getting us clearing off that old order of conditions before we look at any new work, whether it be demo or new construction. I'm gonna, go to the other commission members, but personally, that's my feeling right up front. We've had a couple other projects fall into the same category. And it got very, messy when there's been an outstanding enforcement order, or rather a project without a certificate of compliance and new work proposed. It makes it very difficult to accomplish both. So I'll go to Jason and see if he has any comments of what we should do here.
Yeah, I mean, I echo the chairman's comments. I will say I am extremely appreciative of the new owners coming in and wanting to rectify and clean up this site. We have a long history with the previous owner on the site, as does the fire department, and everyone else really in town. So I don't want it to go unsaid that I don't appreciate what the new owner is trying to do, and say before us that they're really interested in cleaning up the site, which I think will be great for the site and for the town. With that said, I echo the chairman's comments. We've got this outstanding issue laying out there on this real estate, and it needs to be cleaned up, I think, or some plan of action needs to be presented to us at the same time before, I would be comfortable voting on moving ahead with anything. As the chairman said, we certainly have had projects in the past where new owners come in, they say they're going to do something and clean up some past issues, and then all of a sudden we're in the same boat, or other things have been, they just haven't gone the way they should have. And now it's twice as hard to try to clean up what was done years ago. So I do appreciate, the presentation. I appreciate what the new owner's willing to do. But again, I agree with the chairman that, we need to see some sort of plan in place to rectify the old misdeeds before we can move ahead with anything else. I'm all set.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Ken?
Yeah, I agree. We need to complete what was required under the enforcement order, and get that up to speed, and before we continue. That's it.
Okay.
So we did receive, we did receive the plans back in, I think, November of this past year from Brad. And we thought it was just an open order of conditions that, had design work that just wasn't completed at that. That's what it appeared to be on the plans. And today we found out it appears to be more than that, more of an enforcement order, which is, this did show up in the title, we believe. But I believe this was a cash deal, so it didn't really go through all the law chains. But it did show up in the title as an open order. And we did receive the design plans, and it appeared to be more of proposed work. And we were sort of unaware that it was more of an enforcement order at this point until earlier today, which is why it hasn't been rectified sooner than later. We just found out today it was more of an enforcement order as opposed to a previous design plan. So we'll definitely get to the bottom of it, working with the agent and our wetland consultant, who was actually involved in the previous filing as well as peer review for the town, for the replication work. So obviously we do have bigger plans for this site. So obviously we want to get ahead of anything that's outstanding at this point. So that does seem to be the critical path at this point, especially with this commission. So John, unless you have anything else disagree with me, I propose we just deal with the enforcement order as is, prior to doing anything else here, John.
I just would like to ask a clarifying question, because this topic did come up during the transaction, and I think we were under the impression that the order was issued for what was for proposed work for an access drive that was to be built around the building, and what would have been disturbed as part of that proposed access drive.
Yeah.
And that access drive never took place, never was installed, never happened. So I just want to confirm that this goes beyond that proposed access drive, and that it's for something else or some other conditions that are already in place.
That plan did show, I believe, this area to be filled, approximately 4,700 square feet. We believed that was all for the access drive, and there was a replication plan proposed here. It appeared to be all design work. So we'll have to, the enforcement orders sort of was new to us this morning. And as John said, it seemed to be design work. So we'll have to, obviously look into.
John, do you want me to help clarify that a little?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead,
Yes.
Brad?
Right. So some of that work was already done, although not necessarily the way that the plan had proposed it. So there was areas of the resource area that was altered. There was quite a bit of cutting that took place and some grading all along that southerly building edge, down the southern portion. Yeah, down in there. That whole area was disturbed, as well as up around the corner a little bit to some degree as well. So the enforcement order went out for that reason. The NOI that came through was to sort of memorialize and make that permanent with the replication proposal. But the intent at the time was to have that replication in there for mitigation for what was done, as well as what may have been left outstanding. So I don't know as though necessarily all of the wetlands area that was proposed to be permanently altered on the plan was indeed permanently altered, but some of it was. So that's why the enforcement order happened, and that's why the replication was there.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, let's just see if there's anyone in the public that has any questions or comments for them the chance tonight. Does anyone in the public have any questions or comments on this hearing? All right, I'm not hearing any. And just to get back to our action tonight on this, obviously, it doesn't sound like we would be comfortable giving a negative determination. We will take it to a vote. The thing is, typically on the demo projects, we do require notices of intent also, Garrett.
Mhm.
So, this would be a little unusual for us to do. I know you're saying it, there's little chance that things can go bad with sediment migration and stuff, but things do go bad. We found out over the years. So our policy's sort of been to require NOIs when it's down to demo, especially we're talking, major site here. And it's all, what you guys are proposing, we're all for it. There's no question about it. We just want to be consistent with how we've handled other projects in the past. So, Brad, if we vote tonight and we give a positive determination, it just means they'll have to have the option to file a notice of intent for this limited amount of demo after they do the clear up of the enforcement order work and get a certificate of compliance on the past work, or they could wrap it into the total project plan. I'm not sure how their schedule is playing out. If it's possible to push this off into the major work plan. Garrett, is that schedule going to be segmented where you do have to do this limited amount of demo up front? Or is that something you can push into the total project plan?
John, I don't want to speak for you, but I know you guys want to get this done sooner than later. We do expect to be about, probably in front of your commission, probably twice with our proposed plans.
Okay.
I'm just, guessing it's probably going to be a 2 hearing thing. And I think you guys meet once a month. There will be some replication maybe not as much replication as previously thought to go with the enforcement order. The fire department has, similarly requested access around the back. So there will be some replication, needed as a part of our new proposed project as well. It might be in conflict with the existing enforcement order. But we will have, several stormwater, actually a lot of stormwater upgrades, apply the stormwater bylaw for the town. But we'd like 1 hearing, but I could see it going 2 pretty easily.
Yeah, that's fine with us. It's up to you guys how many
Yep.
hearings you want to go through. We can do as many as you want. But,
Yeah. Ultimately, we're trying to limit the number of NOIs that are active on the site, so it may just be wrapped up into the bigger project. I think we might have to just discuss internally, especially just given the timeline of dealing with the enforcement order at the lake. So it might just end up being wrapped in. I think we'll have to just have an offline discussion, me and John,
right.
about how.
And in addressing the enforcement order and the current outstanding order of conditions, then it might steer you how you scope out the rest of your project here too,
Exactly. It may take us several weeks to resolve that.
Yeah.
And at that point, I intend we'll actually have an NOI fully filed in front of your commission. So, it may end up just being wrapped into that.
Okay. All right. So why don't we go for a vote? Ken, do you want to make a motion here?
Can I ask a question first?
Sure.
So we're going to take care of the enforcement order first before we issue a new NOI.
Correct. Yes. Correct.
So that'll be cleaned up and then.
Correct.
do
Yeah.
what we need to
Tonight, our option is to either approve this request for determination of applicability, which would be a negative determination, and they would go ahead and do the demo, or we deny it. We issue a positive determination, which says, hey, if you're going to do this work, you're going to have to go for an NOI to do it. Okay?
I just wanted to make sure I understood that the enforcement order would be attended to before an NOI would be filed for.
Before a new NOI came in the door, Ken, right?
That's my question.
Right.
That's correct. That's the way I'm understanding it.
Right. I would assume that's how we would want to see it done. Right, Brad? Do you agree?
Can I make a few comments?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think, if there was an enforcement order that resulted in a filing and ultimately an order of conditions to address that.
Right.
I don't think they necessarily have to stick to that same plan. In other words, they don't have to wrap up the enforcement and the outstanding order of conditions along with that to satisfy the commission necessarily if they incorporate those concerns into the new filing. So I don't want anyone to think that this can't be resolved as part of a new filing. I think that would help expedite things along, let's say.
Okay.
Rather than try to work only with the old plans and get it wrapped up before filing something new. I don't think that necessarily has to happen. I don't think that's in anyone's interest. I think if there's going to be a new site development plan here, and they can incorporate any outstanding concerns with what has happened in the past with that, then it seems like it would behoove everybody to wrap that all in one and kind of expedite it and ultimately get any replication that needs to be done finally done, so that
All right.
we can
No, that's
mitigate
fine.
what's happened in the past.
That's fine.
If I can make a comment, and that's what I assume too, right? I mean, I don't think there's any reason to go back. I just want to see, I wouldn't be comfortable unless I saw something that addressed those past issues. I don't necessarily want to hold them to what we had, come to agreement on with the previous owner. I just want to see the old issues rectified, whether that's in a new site plan. I just want to see it in a proposal of some sort.
Okay. So there would be a new NOI. It would be maybe the entire project, and it would incorporate all of the conditions from the past, the outstanding order of conditions to satisfy that. So we could do a certificate of compliance on the old order and issue the new order of conditions for the total project. Right, Brad? It would kill two birds with one stone. You're shaking your head, so I'm assuming, yeah, you agree.
My mic was slow to turn on. Sorry.
Okay. So that's basically it, right? We'll address both issues on the one filing then.
We're agreeable to that, and just, I think this wetland in the back that, was subject to this enforcement order, obviously has shifted, over time over the past 7 or 8 years since then. So it will be, it may not be exactly the same thing on the plan that was approved, but it'd be similar to what was, conditioned in that previous order. So we'll work with Brad and our
All
wetland
right.
consultant to get to the bottom of what was required there, and incorporate that on, any design plans.
Okay. All right, we still have to vote, Ken.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we issue a positive determination.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Ken,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
and John, aye. All right, Garrett, we'll see you next time, hopefully with a plan that's going to address both of the issues, your new project and wrap up the old one.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna shoot for, I think, an April hearing. We're trying to file sometime in March, I think. So might see you in April.
Okay,
Great. Thank you very much.
all right, thanks. All right, that takes care of our hearings, and well, let's go down and figure out what we have to vote on.
Mr. Chairman,
Yep,
I'd like to make a motion, we issue an order of conditions for 24 Cheryl Drive.
all right. That was pretty clean with no conditions, right, Ken? I couldn't think of anything.
Correct.
Do we have a
He's
second?
clean. Second.
Okay, all in favor, roll call, Ken,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
and John, aye. And then 1 Bowden Street, that was an RDA, we already voted on that one.
Yep.
Correct.
And then we got 316 Boston Turnpike, Ken?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we issue an order of conditions for 316 Boston Turnpike to install some borings.
All right, and do we have a second?
Second.
All right, and discussion, I just want to enter just a concern. I'm noticing there's no file number for this, Brad.
So I believe that came in late today. So I'm just
Alright.
going to verify that, but give me 1 second.
Yeah,
Yes, that's correct.
did,
It came
okay.
came in today.
okay, good. So, so we got a motion, a second, we'll do a roll call. Ken,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
and John, aye. And what else do we have? We got two Brookline Parkway, Brookline Parkway.
I make a motion, we issue an order of conditions for 2 Brookline Parkway for the installation of a new septic system.
We have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? We'll do a roll call. Ken,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
and John, aye. And we voted on the RDA on the last one, so we're all set there. Outstanding enforcement orders, Brad, 14A Deerfield Road, there was nothing new on that, you said?
Before we get to that, John,
Yeah.
can we just go back to the new old business? So last month, we did close 116 Boylston Circle,
Yep,
but we deferred voting on it because there was no DEP file number at the time.
oh,
So
okay,
there is a file number now, so the commission does need to
oh,
vote,
okay,
make a decision on that one.
all right. Do we have everybody present who can vote on that one? I assume we do. You were there, Jason, right, last month?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah,
Yeah,
we were all there.
and
Three of us
Ken
were there.
was, yeah, okay. Do you want to make a motion, Ken, for?
Make a motion to issue an order of conditions at 116 Boylston Circle.
right, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Roll call, Ken,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
and John, aye. All right. All right. Outstanding enforcement orders, 14A Deerfield Road, nothing new, right, Brad?
No, nothing new on that one yet.
Okay, and 214 Lake Street, you wanna,
So that's the new Beal School. So they're trying to wrap up any loose ends with that particular project. The project is complete. The part of it that we were actively involved with enforcement wise has actually long been over. So they're just looking for something to formalize the matter from the commission, that they're satisfied and lift the enforcement order.
all right. So you want us, so what do you want us to do on that? Swing by and sign something, or?
I would just, if you just want to, if you're comfortable and you want to vote to lift the order, I can just confirm that record with a letter. I can send that to the.
All right,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we lift the enforcement order at 214 Lake Street.
okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, roll call, Ken,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
and John, aye. All right. And certificates of compliance, Brad?
Yes, there's two, one for 11 Joyce Circle and one for 141 Spring Street, and I recommend that the commission issue both of those.
Meeting the 2000. His connection just dropped, so.
I'll see if I can have him use his phone and just phone in.
Yeah, that would be good.
Is it working, John?
Brad, I'm back.
Okay.
What did I miss? Did you discuss
Nothing.
the
We were
2002?
no, we were waiting for you.
All right.
So did we vote on the certificates?
No,
Oh, no, we didn't actually vote on them.
I'll make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for 11 Joy Circle.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, roll call, Ken,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
and John, aye.
I also make a motion, we issue a certificate of compliance for 141 Spring Street.
We have a second,
Second.
all in favor, roll call, Ken,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
and John, aye. All right, now we're at the 2002 policy requirements update.
Okay, I see my video seems to be going in and out. Can you hear me at least?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
Okay.
see it.
Excellent. So really the reason why I was thinking of the update is to address some of the kind of new things that have happened since 2002 in terms of what we need for filings. And a lot of that has to do with our limited office space and, you know, the electronic media that we're using more these days as well, particularly once we started remote meetings. So, you know, in terms of what we're looking for filing things, you know, making sure we get electronic copies, how a lot of that information gets to us, what format, things of that nature, stuff like that, so that it kind of makes our review a little bit easier and helps expedite it. I've struggled at times to get, you know, a simple PDF from applicants during COVID, just to be able to put it up on the drive or have it available during a meeting like this. So I want to be able to put some language in the policy sheet that's upfront when people file with us, so that they know what to expect. They have it ahead of time, and there really can't be any debate about it, let's say. So I'm going to be planning to draft some of that up and have it available for the commission before the next meeting to consider at that time. And I also wanted to know if there's anything else that the commission members feel should be added to the policy sheet as well. We know that some of the things, for instance, such as the structure setbacks and other things, while it worked really well, you know, early on during the policy, it hasn't worked so great, let's say, in recent times. So if there's any changes to the policy there that you might want to see, or anything else, we can certainly incorporate some additional changes too. Ultimately, we may need a bylaw for certain things, but what can be addressed through a policy, I want to at least try to get that information up, you know, revised and quickly on there, so that, you know, just in the digital age, especially moving forward, we get that portion addressed. You know, office space wise, I know some of you have been into the town hall recently. We don't even have place for files anymore. I have about 10% of the commission's files accessible in the town hall. The rest are in other buildings that make it really hard to get to. So when we get records requests and other things, it takes a lot of time. You know, I tell people they're not going to get it the same day. It's a lot of times a few days after they request it before I can, you know, go get it in the basement of another building, for instance. So if we have a, you know, streamlined filing format where we get, you know, the hard copies that commission members want to see, and also we have, you know, the same thing in a digital format that we can use, because there are different digital formats and sometimes we have problems with what people give us. It's going to help make, you know, records accessibility a lot easier in the future as well, so that when we get records requests for information, or, you know, if something new, like I've been to so many sites in town. You know, I've probably seen as many as 4 or 5 filings on the same site during my career here. So even if something comes up on a site, it's going to make it easier for me if we've got the electronic copies moving forward, you know, and readily available. And just so that the commission knows as well, we did put out a job for bid to scan a variety of departments' files in town. The Conservation Commission's was included in that. I'm not sure if all or how much of ours may be able to get scanned, you know, to kind of get rid of those archives and other buildings and at least finally get some of that scanned and digitally available. Once we see what the numbers come in versus what we have for budget, then, you know, I'll have a better idea then. But my biggest concern is, you know, anything that comes in now moving forward, we should try to address the digital age and make it easier to get everybody who wants the information, get that information.
Okay,
Agreed.
sounds good.
Would you like a motion to adjourn?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, roll call, Ken,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
and John. Aye. All right, good night, guys.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Thanks, Brad.